is the first time I'm doing it with this setup because it is a very slow news week so far. It's only Tuesday, and I don't like covering rumors all that much. There's a lot of rumors going around, but I like covering news and facts. So I'm going to talk about the news that is happening this week, but then I also thought it'd be fun. I haven't had time to bag and board my comics in a couple weeks, so I thought I'd do a chunk of that with you lovelies. So today, we're going to talk about that awesome Supergirl casting. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit of rumors because it's a fun one. Fantastic Four might be changing its title. And we're going to talk a little bit about Matt Reeves' Penguin sequel potential slash General the Batman spinoff. So we got a lot of stuff to dive into. And then, as ever, we are going to be diving into this week's books, the new books that are out tomorrow at your local comic shop. One of the reasons I wanted to get this up today is so you can know what is happening tomorrow, and then also review last week's comics, the final week of October. It was a very small week of books, but there was a lot of really solid stuff. So I want to get into all of that, and I thought it'd be fun to do that here. So this is This Week in Comics. This is the first in this very weird and specific setup. I'm going to get used to it as we go along. It is a very intense brightness, but I think that means that looks like solidly. What up from Belgium? It is good to see you all, cozy over there. Michael McCarsell, hello, good sir. It is great to see you. I hope you're liking the new Nightwing as much as you were enjoying last. Other than my blindness, I do like this setup. What up, Flashpoint 79? All right. For people not watching this live, I want to make sure we get to the news first. Then again, we'll do review, then preview. Then we're going to go through these beautiful stack of comics. We're going to bag and board live. And if people like that, I was thinking about doing a series called My Collection. And I've got some new Silver Age X-Men I want to add to my collection. So maybe like an X-Men video going through a long box of X-Men, adding stuff. But that's another conversation. First up, let's talk Supergirl, you lovelies. Supergirl has officially, it's locked and loaded. I'm still waiting on the James Gunn announcement, but has cast Ruthye. Now, Ruthye is a very important character in the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow story because basically Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which I highly recommend you read, is this incredible space opera epic that is fueled by vengeance, but through the vengeance, there is absolute love and such wonder. And that doesn't work without this anchor of innocence because Supergirl, unlike Superman, did know Krypton. She is a Kryptonian lost. She is someone who has this air of aggression because of the vengeance that is deserved after everything she lost. She was raised on a comet for a time. She went through it different. Like the nature nurture element of Supergirl versus Superman is fascinating. And then Ruthye represents this innocence that she wants someone to be able to maintain. She lost her innocence when Kryptonite went away. She wants Ruthye to keep it. So Ruthie's parents are killed by this awful space pirate who's a very multifaceted evil character, but he's really captivating and fascinating in this book, who was just cast as Matthias Schoenaerts, who, if you haven't seen Rust and Bone, amongst other things, Matthias Schoenaerts is a force of nature himself, but that evil entity kills her parents. And basically the movie slash the book that's currently out is going to be that pursuit of that vengeance. So Supergirl will kill this man who killed her parents in order to keep her innocent. So Ruthye is absolutely integral, and she has been cast as Eve Ridley. Now, Eve Ridley, I don't know her work, but the look of this child is so perfect. She looks adorable, innocent, otherworldly, ethereal. She's got this alienness to her. And I think that's really important in a story about aliens. I mean, Kara's an alien, and then this girl's an alien. This is all very cosmic. But I think that innocence and that wonder is absolutely present in this casting. So I think Alice Eve is absolutely a great casting decision. Everyone cast so far. I mean, I think James Gunn does pretty impeccable casting. Everyone cast so far has been so well versed in the style that I see this universe coming together as. So I think this is absolutely perfect. I personally am very excited. I want to know in the comments what you guys think. Are you excited for Alice Eve? If you've seen any of her work, please let me know in the comments below what you think of her acting. I just think the imagery is so perfect. And if you have not read Bilks Evely and Tom King's Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, I highly recommend it. The movie comes out June of 2026. You've got what's that, 18 months, 19 months or so to read it. Highly could not recommend it more. It is in my top 10 DC trades of all time. It is my favorite Supergirl book ever, and the fact that they're adapting it with Tom King helping on the script makes me very happy. The art by Bill Xively is absolutely stunning. As more comes together, I do think I'm going to do individual videos near the end of the year of what we know about the DC property so far. A lot of you have asked for a Green Lantern video, what we know about the Lantern series so far. We've got the casting. I watched Rebel Ridge last night. I am even more excited for Aaron Pierre now that I've seen that movie. The audition tape for Green Lantern effectively was incredible. So I'm thinking about making a Lanterns video, but if people are interested, I might make a Supergirl video as well, because I think it's a really powerful story, and I really love the casting so far. So Alice Eve adding to that makes me oh so very happy. I'm going to check in the live chat real quick, and then we're going to get to the next news story. Again, it's a very light news week, but I want to make sure we get everything moving and grooving. Dylan Walker loves the collection name. I appreciate that. Brian L. Redman, thank you, thank you, thank you. Positivity is a lost art on the internet. Trying, man, not an easy thing, so I appreciate the love. We've got Spidey Sensei 72. Good to see you, Spidey Sensei. Is that the DC subway map behind you? Also, after reading King and Black, I don't know if there was any way to properly use that story for a film. Thoughts? Well, Spidey Sensei 72, I am from Boston. That is the T map of the subway in Boston. This is the green line that I used to take all the time, and at the top up there is the Lowell line. I'm from Lowell, so I'd either go from Lowell, the commuter rail, into Boston, or I'd park at Alewife, take the red line into the green line. This was home, so I miss home a lot. This little homesick map right there. So that's the Boston T. And to answer your other question, your more on-brand question, sorry for ranting. I love home. I miss home. I think the King in Black was only just teased. King in Black is not the movie they made. It's just like that was the null Thanos in the chair moment. So there's so much more to come. I think they could adapt King in Black, but it would be an Avengers level event. I think it'd be Sony's big Avengers thing. So I think it would take quite a bit, and they would have to get there. But time will tell. I think King in Black could be a cool story if they have the right characters at play, and if they trust the audience, and if they like let it breathe a little. But Null was just the beginning. So time will tell. We will see. Thank you for the question. Thank you very much for the super chat. As ever, everyone, I will check the live chat as much as possible, but I'm going to try to hit that a lot today because I'm doing all this. But any super chat, I will guarantee I will absolutely answer every single super chat. These comic videos, they only make like a couple bucks, so I thought doing a live and getting super chats in here would help like balance it out a little bit. So I appreciate every super chat that comes through. Let's talk the next bit of news, and it's a rumor, which isn't usually my jam, but I thought it was a fun rumor, and I thought it gave context to the movie itself. There is a rumor going around that Fantastic Four is no longer called First Steps. It's going to be called Fantastic Four First Contact. Now, Fantastic Four in the first place, I think they're just changing the name because they don't want it confused with other Fantastic Four, like in alphabetical and categorical order. Superman is ironically the first Superman movie named Superman, because Superman the movie was the Christopher Reeve movie, then obviously Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, and then all the, Superman with a number. We've never had a movie just called Superman. So I think that is why they changed it from the Superman Legacy title to just Superman. Also, the first film being called Legacy, I think, was a little throwing off for some people that, had the expectation of Legacy. So striking that, just calling it Superman makes sense. Fantastic Four is in another spot. Fantastic Four has had a original film from Roger Corman, and then it had a Fantastic Four also called just Fantastic Four in the 2000s from, I think, Tim Story, a sequel there with Rise of the Silver Surfer, and then Fantastic Four Stick, which is just confusing because there's a 4 in there. It's so giving it a new title, making it clean makes sense. Now, I never loved the idea of First Steps. It kind of works as like, a building, a growing, a new universe, all those things. But First Contact ties into what I think the storyline is going to be, which is we know there's a female Silver Surfer. I think we also get Norrin Rad, and I think that's going to be our marker of they're not in Kansas anymore. They're not in their multiverse anymore. They're coming from another universe. So First Contact would be First Contact with our universe, and that'd be interesting because it also will be interesting if, Downey's Doom, he's the man that looks like Robert Downey Jr. in their universe is Doom, but the man that looks like Robert Downey Jr. in our universe is Iron Man. So that multiversal element will hopefully help that casting work a little better. I really think Downey as Doom, acting-wise is great, but having had him been Iron Man is very tricky for audiences, including myself. But I really think that First Contact tells a lot more story than First Steps as far as what the movie actually is. So in a rare bit of rumor talk, I did want to say I think First Contact is a great name, and I do think that is possibly what it's going to be called, and they've changed titles before. So I'm really curious. I mean, even Captain America New World Order is Brave New World now. So I think as they clean up Marvel, they're trying to make sure things land right. So there is some precedent, and I think it's a good title. So we'll see if it's called Fantastic Four First Contact by the time it comes out. All right, we have in the chat John Caruso. What up, Massachusetts? You see this map. You know what that is. Much, much appreciated. Lobstar, how are you? We've got The Mike Show. I think they will eventually get to Franklin Richards. I actually think a young Franklin Richards will be in this film. I think the first family is going to be a family already established, so time will tell. But I think that's going to be what goes on. All right, last bit of news before we get to the comics of last week. It is a small news week, as I said, but I did want to talk about this quote. Matt Reeves, when asked about the Penguin, said the future Batman spinoffs will be character-driven, just like the Penguin, saying, quote, Oz's story is Oz's story, and the idea is to do these other stories in the same way. So this, to me, I hope that means we don't see Batman in these. I hope we get to let them stay independent and let these characters grow their arcs, because all it does is grow Arkham out better. All it does is allow Gotham to feel fully realized. Everyone's saying, in this last episode's minorest of spoilers for episode 7, there's an explosion, Batman would be there. If Batman was at every explosion in Gotham, he's one man. How would he be able to, Gotham is a mess. Gotham is flooded. Gotham, people are dying. He also has to make appearances as Bruce Wayne occasionally, not often, as we saw in The Batman. He hadn't been Bruce Wayne in some time, but he still needs to be a presence at points. So there is no way he is at every explosion, every drug deal, every little bit of everything. So I think it works that the Batman is not in The Penguin, because the show is called The Penguin, not the Batman's Penguin. But yeah, I'm really digging it, and I like this idea of maybe a GCPD show where there's no Batman, maybe an Arkham show. We've clearly seen this is something that is viable. This character is absolutely strong enough. This B-list Batman villain has the best show on TV, in my opinion, right now. And I think that if the writing stays this strong, we could absolutely do that with a number of characters. And I love this Matt Reeves universe, so I would love to see every year we get a show, whether that's a Penguin sequel or an Arkham show or, I don't know, a Robin show. I want to see, Dick Grayson gets a show and becomes, Bloodhaven and Nightwing down the line after Batman 3 or something, or Batman 2. But we will see. I just love this idea of more expansion, and I think it is fantastic to do character-driven stuff. I would like it very, very much. We will see. Nate616, the Penguin is really showing and exposing the ideas of how do we like a protagonist who is a crime boss? How do we hate an antagonist who has endured manipulated circumstances? Yes, yes, yes. I do love that. I do love that there's nuance. I do love that there's actual character development. I do love that the moral gray areas, basically it's asking of us to decide, which I really, really dig. And will Vic become Robin or Victor Zsasz? I think he's already Penguin's Robin. He is the number 2 to Penguin already. I don't think he's Zsasz. I've never thought he was Zsasz. I always thought that was an odd thing that people assume just because his name is Victor. Pretty common name. But a lot of people on the internet seem to think he's Victor Zsasz. I personally don't, but time will tell. We will see. Again, I will get to every super chat if anyone wants to ask anything. I'm going to dive into these books, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of go through these. We haven't done these yet. If there's any other news, I will check right before we're out of here, but I want to also talk about my favorite comics from last week. More and more people are saying in the comments they're checking out comics because of this show, and that makes me oh so very happy. It cannot mean more to me that you guys are reading comics based on me talking about which ones I love and trying to make a gateway into comics for you. That's why I got into this business in the first place. So that this little show on my page is working makes me oh so very happy. The first book of the week is going to be Batman: The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, number 2. It's a very long title for a very good book. It was awesome to read this on Halloween. This, I think you can see. I'm going to try this way, and it's got a 5-second delay, so hopefully you guys can check this out. This is the cover. What's bittersweet about this book is it's the sequel to one of the most formative Batman titles of all time. Batman: The Long Halloween is what Dark Knight is loosely based off, what the Batman is loosely based off of. Modern Batman is so hinged on The Long Halloween, and we lost the artist Tim Sale last year, maybe 2 years ago now, and Jeff Loeb had written a story with the intent of him and Tim Sale adapting it and doing the sequel. Instead of not making the comic, Jeff Loeb decided to have artists in the vein of Tim Sale, not copying his style, but making the style, making the same costumes, making the same energy tell the story in a 10-part story. So this is part 2 of those 10. I think it is amazing. I really love that that is happening. So that one is one of my top 9 from last week. Quite enjoyed it. The next book I want to recommend from last week is Captain America number 14. This book is an absolute delight because it is the Avengers team-up-y experience that you want. It looks like this. This is a Thor and Spider-Man Captain America book. It is from J. Michael Straczynski and Magno on art. It is a delightful team-up title. The energy of Captain America is so like, I've got work, I'm taking care of stuff, and it's fun to see him try to have friends and interact, and then how that friendship kind of turns into workship, and how like his friends would be friends from work, and how he has to navigate what that line is between Steve Rogers and all those things. And there's also an element of like, does Thor know who Peter Parker is? Does Steve Rogers? Like, it's really playful and fun in what each of the characters represent to each other as friends and as coworkers, and I really dig that. So those are my first 2. My next one is an indie book from Image Comics called Feral. This is from the creator of Stray Dogs. This is from Tim Fleece with art by Forstner. This is a horror comic with cats. So imagine Stray Dogs was Silence of the Lambs meets cats. This one is about like rabies. So imagine like a cool 28 Days Later or Walking Dead like zombie thing, but the protagonists are cats. You're from the POV of cats. So if you like zombie stuff and you like cats, absolutely check out Feral. It is such a well-written delight, and it's such a good use of the medium of comics. Highly recommend that. The next book, if you guys can't tell, I'm going alphabetical. That's how I do these. I try to be fair so people don't think I like one publisher more than the other, but going in order of alphabet. The next book is an absolute surprise. Maybe the biggest surprise of the year, one of the funniest comics of the year. I absolutely adore this book. It is Multiverses Collision Detected number 4. This is the Multiverses video game that I was lucky enough to present at San Diego Comic-Con last year, 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, and I love this game. It literally has like Matt Lillard as Shaggy, then you can fight against people from Space Jam, and there's Warner Brothers IP mixed with DC IP because it's all under that umbrella. But this comic is like Batman dealing with the insanity of Bugs Bunny, and it's so funny and so weird. It's Shaggy and Scooby teaming up with Wonder Woman. Marvin the Martian's here. Like, it's so weird. Dan Mora's on covers. The inside art is also great. It is wicked funny. Like, it's genuinely just such a funny book, and it came out of nowhere for me. I admittedly only read it because I was so much a fan of the game. It would not have hit my radar, so I really want to raise awareness for it because it is hitting so very good and so very hard. Then we've got NYX number 4. This, you lovelies, is, in my opinion, one of the best X books post-Krakoa. It is from Jackson Lanzing, Colin Kelly with art by Balam. This book is incredible. It deals with the culture of New York. It deals with the culture of mutants. It deals with what it's like to be ostracized. It really captures, I think, what Generation Z is going through from the outside. I'm a millennial, but from the outside, just trying to find that identity, trying to find their culture in this horrible world, and how much that ties into mutanthood. So NYX really captures the energy of New York, but also what Gen Z is dealing with, mutanthood, and this one deals with the fallout of Krakoa in a really interesting way. It's a very charged book. It's got a lot to say. It's got a lot of strong themes. It's wicked good. NYX, I highly recommend you go back to issue 1 and check out the whole shebang. The next issue is going to be a fun crossover with 2 characters I hold near and dear to my heart, Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing. This is Feral Trees number 1. This is a single issue. This is a one-off. This is from the new DC All-In launch where you can really jump on any book. Look for the All-In titles. They're very approachable. This is such a good title. And again, it's just a one-issue anthology run of a death in the forest and the Green speaking to both Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing differently, and how Swamp Thing is less human and Poison Ivy's more human, and what that means in relation to the Green, how that relates to all the different things, and what that means for the Earth itself and the Green. And I love the commentary on humanity and her commentary on what it is to be like an eco-terrorist versus someone just trying to help the planet. I've always loved that Poison Ivy is coming from a place that I kind of understand, but that's also against humanity, which is ironic as a human being. Obviously, I want to save the planet, and obviously human beings mess it up all the time, so I love the idea of her as a villain, but she's really just trying to keep us and our planet alive in her own way, even if that costs some of us. So I love the morality of that, and then mixing that with the Swamp Thing is a delight. Next up, we've got Redcoat number 7. This book finally got me. I've been like on the B minus. My top 9 is usually B pluses and A minuses. This one finally hit that A minus for me. It is from Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch. Jeff Johns Geiger is my absolute jam. I love what Ghost in the Machine is doing, so I really have wanted to love Redcoat. This issue finally got me. It deals with Albert Einstein. Yes, that one. as an adult dying, and Redcoat is an immortal, and their adventures together. And there's a lot of just beautiful commentary on the bittersweet nature of how fleeting life is. And it just deals with immortality well, and it's a really fun title overall. This one is a big surprise for the week. We've got 2 left. The penultimate of my favorites from last week is Venom War Zombiotes number 3. This has not been the best of the titles. Venom War is fine. It's a decent event title, but started really strong. It's kind of fallen off for me. Zombiotes was certainly not my jam. Zombie symbiotes is a fun little cheeky concept. Didn't like the delivery all that much, but this issue is one of the best Shocker issues I've ever read. It deals with friendship. It deals with bromance. It's Shocker and Boomerang. It is so weird. It is so good. Highly recommend it, especially if you're as big of a fan of Shocker as I am. And our last book of the week is going to be Wolverine Revenge. I'm going Red Band. The Red Band is the R-rated. There's one more page and there's a lot more blood. But Wolverine Revenge number 3. This is a little bit messy narratively, but the art is so good from Greg Capullo, and the writing is solid from Jonathan Hickman, but the story is just kind of piecing itself together in a weird way. But it's in a dystopian world where Wolverine is seeking revenge for people that have wronged him. In this case, both Deadpool and Colossus make appearances. I won't spoil what happens, but it is a brawl, and it's awesome. So if you like throwdown fights with your X-Men, Wolverine Revenge is absolutely your jam, especially with art by Greg Capullo, and especially with such good writing. Jonathan Hickman, he did Krakoa. Like, he's one of the titans out there working. I think him and James Tynion IV are 2 of the best at the big 2 right now. Highly recommend you check out their stuff. So those are the books I recommend from last week, the week of October 30th. I'm going to check the comments real quick, and then I'm going to give you the previews of what you can pick up tomorrow at your local comic book shop. Just wondering what mic and camera are you using? I'm trying to get started, but my audio always sounds like trash. This is a wireless Me Rode mic, R-O-D-E. Rode mic are really rad. They sent me to these when they heard how bad my audio was. This is just from love. Thank you, Rode mic. I really appreciate you. I'm actually upgrading my phone. That's my phone. I'm just on my phone right there. That's just an iPhone 13. I'm going to be upgrading to the 16 probably in the next couple weeks. Getting a new laptop. This is from 2015, this laptop I'm on. Everything's going to get upgraded, but for now, an iPhone 13, wireless Rode mic, and a 2015 MacBook Pro, all that's getting upgraded, so everything's about to get a lot better, but for now, I appreciate you wanting to know, because that means it's at least decent, which means a lot to me, because I'm doing my best, so thank you. I've always worked in studios with, like, the top of the line equipment, and I've never done my own thing. In April, I really started aggressively trying to grow this page. So mid-November marks 7 months of me growing this page, and we were at 22K, and we're about to be at 38K. We just passed 37,000. So we've grown 15,000 in 7 months. So I really appreciate each and every one of you, because this has all been on my phone without mics and now with Rode mics, and it's about to grow even more. I'm about to upgrade everything else. So let's keep growing this beast. Let's hit 40K by the end of the year, hoping to hit 50K by like late January. And I'm going to do I'm going to do a 50 comic giveaway when we hit 50,000, by the way. So as it gets closer, I'll announce how that's going to go down. But every subscriber, that's that first 50,000 subscribers, all eligible. And I'm going to give away 50 comics to one, maybe 2, maybe 50 each, to folks that follow the page. So I'm really excited to keep growing this. Let's actually talk about some comics themselves, you lovelies. These are the books that are available on November 6th. Tomorrow is somehow already November 6th. Today is the 5th of November, which we must remember because it's full of gunpowder, treason, and plot. If you've never seen Vertigo Comics V for Vendetta, that's what you should do tonight, because it is absolutely sensational. One of my favorite comic adaptations and a genius book by Alan Moore. Today's the day to watch it, especially on an election year. Let's see. We got Batman 154 out tomorrow. Loving the first issue. This is the second issue of a new arc. All In, again, remember, is a very good jumping on point. So this is effectively an issue 2, even though it's called 154. It's really an issue 2. Chip Zdarsky doing the work with Jorge Jimenez. Saga number 170. Ultimates number 6. I'm reading these in order of how anticipated they are by the internet polls, by the way. So this is just in sporadic order of the books I'm going to be checking out tomorrow. And this is on leagueofcomicgeeks.com, and how the people have clicked on each of these titles and how that's ranked is by excitement over at leagueofcomicgeeks.com. So the Ultimates number 6. The Absolute Superman number 1 is probably the biggest pull for me of the week, because Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman were absolute bangers. Very excited to see how Superman kicks off. We've got Action Comics 1074. 4, X-Men number 7, Something is Killing the Children number 0. Going to talk about Something is Killing the Children here in a moment. Green Arrow Annual for 2024, The Avengers number 20, Poison Ivy number 27, Aliens vs. Avengers number 2, another huge book from Jonathan Hickman, art by Asad Rabiz, absolutely stunning book, very excited for it. Birds of Prey number 15, Batgirl number 1, great jumping on point, X-Force number 5, X-Factor number 4, JSA number 1. This is a huge new week in comics tomorrow. There's so many good jumping on points. Shazam 17, we got Gunslinger Spawn and King Spawn number 39, Venom War number 4, reaching the end of that giant event, Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood number 4, Walking Dead Deluxe number 100, Plastic Man No More number 3, very excited for that one, Sacrificers number 12, great indie book from Rick Remender. We've got Venom War Spider-Man number 4, Spider-Man in the symbiote suit is a fun time again. We've got Spider Society number 4, Public Domain number 10, love that title from Chip Zdarsky, Blood Hunters number 4, we've got Star Wars The Battle of Jakku, Insurgency Rising number 4, My Adventures of Superman number 6. If you have kids and you want a nice all ages book, that is in the Jack Quaid animated series continuity. It takes place between seasons 1 and 2, and it's really fun. We've also got Kid Venom number 3 for a kid book. We've got DC Horror Presents Creature Commandos number 2. That is from David Dastmalchian, an excellent actor, a buddy of mine, a fantastic comic writer. I talk about his Count Crowley all the time, but his Creature Commandos is also so very dope. Definitely check out this book. Going to be bagging on board in that one. He signed for me here in a moment, but definitely recommend issues 1 and 2. Issue 2 drops tomorrow. Nemesis Rogues Gallery number 4 over from Dark Horse is going to wrap us out. And then Anansi Boys number 5 from Dark Horse as well. Lots and lots of great stuff coming out tomorrow. That is going to do it for next week's books and reviewing books. Let's dive into some comics right here. Thank you for all the love, for all the hard work. I really, really appreciate it. Calm down, Rich. I don't want to get a webcam because I don't want more technology. I really just hate stuff, and I already have too much stuff, and I don't want to use my laptop. What I might do is just set up my new MacBook and use its camera, but right now my phone is going to be it. I don't want to keep buying stuff. Yes, this year has flown by. It's been absolutely insane. I'm overheating, but there's nothing I can do about that. Appreciate the love, WSim27. Let's see. Let's dive into these books. Michael says, thanks, Coy, for all the comic news. I just bought my first Xavier Walkman shirt in the Reject Shop. My first super chat for my favorite YouTuber. Dude, thank you. That means so fucking much. Super chats, I know that the world's so expensive. Every dollar is so appreciated. That's crazy. And I'm your first super chat. Michael, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you supporting Reject Nation. Appreciate you supporting me. I'm honored to be your first super chat. Thank you. That means the world. I really, really do appreciate it. All right, let's dive into some comic books. Now, people often ask me how I store my comics, how I read my comics, where I get my comics. It is a medley. To be honest, I get a decent amount digitally from the publisher so I can read and review them. I get a lot at my local comic shop that I buy myself because I love this medium. I want to support it. I want to put my money where my mouth is. So I buy a lot of comics. And then some publishers send me physical comics because they know I'm a physical comic person. I actually like reading comics in print. So some publishers send me some as thanks. And then Boom Studios, for example, I work with. So Boom Studios, I do a lot of moderating for them and stuff. And so I ask for comics for pay. So instead of getting money for moderating, which I often, that's how I eat and that's how I pay for things, they send me comics, which I appreciate very much. And they just started doing that out of the kindness of their heart. So Boom Studios, much love. And then everything else I read digitally because I run out of space very quickly. So it's kind of a blend of digital, people sending me stuff, and then me spending too much money at my local comic shop. And speaking of my local comic shop, House of Secrets recently got broken into and had a bunch of really great books stolen. Some really shitty people broke into House of Secrets. So if you guys want anything for Christmas, they ship. So if you want to support a local comic shop and you don't have one near you, House of Secret ships, and they're amazing. I love them to death. Highly recommend finding a local comic shop in your neighborhood, but if you don't have one, House of Secrets is lovely. And if you're in LA, they're in Burbank, they're on Olive Avenue, and they're absolutely amazing. I could not recommend them more. They're great for back issues. They're great for new stuff. They have a great pull. You get a discount if you have a pull list with them. They're just absolutely fantastic. Much love to them. This is a mix of basically, some of these are from a couple months ago. A lot of this is from the last few weeks. So I'm going to show you guys. Basically, my system is I do Silver Age everything. I'm a Silver Age junkie. I love Silver Age comics. And I also like that modern comics fit in Silver Age bags and boards with a little wiggle room. So I personally bag everything in Silver Age. So I'm going to put the mic here. And I'm basically going to show you guys my storing process is Silver Age bag and board, and then I put everything in a long box. So I personally, there's a rougher side and a smoother side, right? So I like smoother side to face the back of my comic, and I like the front tab to be the front. So we bag, we board, and then this is Deadpool number 3. This is 4 months ago's Deadpool issue. This is from Cody Ziegler, who has started to turn around for me. I like how he writes Deadpool's daughter more than how he writes Deadpool, but Cody Ziegler's new Deadpool run is like so. So I personally like the tab to go in the back, like so that when the comic is all sealed, it looks all pretty perfect, like framed like that. And you got a little bit of white space around the edges. It looks like a picture frame. And the bags and boards I get, a lot of them happen to have this non-stick, or not non-stick, this one-side stick, so basically you don't even have to tape. I also keep Scotch tape around in case it gets undone for the bags and boards that don't have them, and then it seals itself. So it's kind of like licking an envelope and then pressing it down, and then you've got a bagged and boarded comic. Then I sort them alphabetically, so like I've got a D comic box, an E comic box, and then numerically. So when I flip through, this is going to go after 2 before 4 as I flip. So that's how I store comics personally. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to get these bagged and boarded. But I've got a ton of Uncanny X-Men Silver Age I need to add to my long box. So I'm going to be doing that anyway. I might do a live stream and start doing my collection videos again, which is something I did, man, I think it was like 3 months into the pandemic. During the lockdown, I did collection videos. They're still on this page, and you can see lots of my collection where I basically go through my Silver Age Spider-Man, my Silver Age X-Men, but I haven't updated them in a couple months, so I've got some stuff to add, and I thought it'd be fun to go with you guys and like talk about old arcs from Claremont and Byrne, talk about some of the old Kirby stuff, talk about how some of the X-Men are just reprints of, like some of the X-Men covers are new covers on reprints of the inside of only a few years earlier X-Men runs from the 60s, so that's an interesting thing to go through. I am only 27 issues from every Spider-Man ever in print, so that'd be fun to go through some of my old Spider-Man. This is about 4 months ago's Amazing Spider-Man from Zeb Wells and McGinnis. McGinnis, one of my favorite artists out there. So basically, what you're seeing is my random pull, right? So what I do is I bag and board, and then once they're safe and protected, I go through and I alphabetize. So Spider-Man will be a Spider-Man section. Batman will be a Batman section. Then I go through and put them in numerical order so I can put them in their boxes. So the process is kind of fun because it's meditative. It's like really chill to just kind of sit and have a task that is mindless for now, and then it becomes like focused. I also currently use Cover Price, which is a great website to log comics. It keeps track of what comics you need. Like you can add stuff to a wish list. It also keeps track of the value of all your comics. You can see a running total on the value of your comic down to the minute. It keeps track of eBay, My Comic Shop, keeps track of auctions. You can list the condition of your comic, so it keeps track of certain conditions, whether it's fine, very fine, good, near mint, etc. I try to bag and board my comics within, a week or two. This is a while back. Ultimate Spider-Man, one of the best books out there. Oh my God, I love this title. So that my books stay in near mint condition, especially the new ones I'm buying. And then I tend to read them once, because I like to read my comics, like to actually read them. And then I tend to read them digitally when I go and reread them. So they stay in pretty good condition as best I can, because I'm bagging and boarding them right away. All right, so that is my system. I'm curious what people do themselves. Let me know in the comments below how you guys store your comics, how you bag and board. This Deadpool and Wolverine came out in conjunction with the movie. It is from Joe Kelly, who I adore. Joe Kelly is one of my favorite Deadpool writers. I love Joe Kelly, but this Deadpool didn't hit quite as good as his original run. I am really looking forward to his Spider-Man, though. Overall, Joe Kelly is one of my favorite writers. This book I liked, didn't love, but the Kubert art plus the Joe Kelly witticism definitely made it worthwhile for me overall, just not as quite as good as I hoped. All right, so now we're back into Deadpool, the solo title. So you guys will see. Oh, I'm out of bags in this bag. So this was issue 2. They're currently on, I believe, issue 9 or 10. So I'm actually 7 months behind on this particular title of bagging and boarding Deadpools. And again, Cody Ziegler writes very Gen Z, and I feel like that's great for Deadpool's daughter. But Deadpool himself, him saying no cap and stuff feels like someone trying too hard, and I know Deadpool tries too hard, but it feels false in the way that he's trying too hard, if that makes any sense. It doesn't feel like Deadpool's voice all the time, but Cody Ziegler seems like a nice guy. I just think we see Deadpool differently. There's literal dust on my comics because it's been 5 months and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. Okay, so now we've got Deadpool 1, 2, and 3, so they become their own little pile, and then when I find 4, 5, 6, etc., that becomes its own thing. You know what? I am shocked, you guys. This stream started with like 100 viewers or like 75, and there's not a lot of news, so I expected it to be like 20 people, and it actually has maintained within 10 people the same amount, so that bodes well for this being at least moderately entertaining for you guys to watch, which means a lot to me because that was the goal. I think that might be it for all of the news, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to keep bagging and boarding and talking about each individual issue until I get to the bottom of this particular stack, and then I think that's going to be live. So if you guys have any questions, get them in now. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 49. I can explain something cool here. It's issue 49, but it's Legacy issue number 943. So if Legacy ever confuses you, what Legacy is the overall run of the title. So Spider-Man's gone through a few renumberings and a few different volumes. Spider-Man ran uninterrupted from issue 1 to 441. That was volume 1. And I remember when it changed, it was such a big deal. John Byrne cover for the new issue 1, which is Legacy 442, but they renumbered it. And that was when they had some really cool May Parker stuff. But anyway, that was in the early 2000s. And then it got renumbered again in the late 2010s, renumbered again after 600. Like, they renumber a lot, which is frustrating, but they started doing this Legacy thing about 15 years ago, so you always know what the overall number is. So that's the number I sort by, but this little number 49 is less intimidating for people to jump on the book. So 49 means people can be like, oh, it's 49 issues in, I can figure out what's going on. Whereas when you see 943, that feels daunting. So the 943 is like the collector's number, the 43 or the 49 is like the reader's number, if that makes sense. So that is another way to catalog your comics, is to keep track of the Legacy number, because, you know, these numbers are pretty crazy at this point as far as like how long some titles have been running. Like Batman's on number 147, but Detective Comics is on 1048, I believe, this month. It's over 1,000, and it's, you know, a few years into over 1,000. So it is intimidating, and I totally get that from folk. But another great thing to look for is like the imprint stuff. Like Dawn of DC was a good jumping on point, but All In DC is even better. All In is, if you see an All In issue, it's like you've only a month or two in. So this Dawn of DC at the bottom is definitely helpful because you can look for other stuff around this era, but the All In DC is the newest revamp, and it's kind of like the new 52. Brand new jumping on points, brand new creative teams for the most part, brand new almost chronology as far as like import of titles. So that's a good way to look for details on the title as well. So jealous of that collection. Sam, so cool. Koi is almost Spider-Man comics in existence. Pretty impressive. Yeah, I'm 27 away. It's getting pretty crazy. Look, a hangout and chat stream like this is delightful. I know it might not be great for the algorithm, but I think these are worth doing. Thank you, Michael. It is awful for the algorithm, and I really need to keep growing this page. So everyone in here, if you like this at all, leave a comment. If you like this at all, leave a like, because I need you guys to balance out the algorithm, because frankly, this will be tanking my page, but I really wanted to do it with you guys because I thought it'd be fun. All right, here is another thing about comic books. This is the Boom title, Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. And Boom is very good at variant covers. So Boom does variant covers for all of their indie books and mainstream books alike, and they're really rad because they're like pure art. This doesn't even have a title on it. It literally is a painting. This is Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, and so is this, and so is this. And you'll see on the back is how you track what this issue actually is, but then the more mainstream covers are things you know. So this is issue 14, and you wouldn't know that until you saw the back, but then on the main title, like the regular cover is going to look like your standard comic. So on the regular comic, this is, I believe, the last issue or the penultimate issue. Boom Studios is the publisher, title, Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, issue 14, and then the team behind it. Jason Aaron, iconic Thor writer, did Gore the God Butcher. Genius. He did this title, and it only ran 14 or 15 issues. Might be 16, but I think it's 14 or 15. Really great title from Boom. But what I love is the artistry of doing crazy covers that these contain the same comic inside, but you can pick, and then this is going to be a lot more rare. This is like a 1 of 100. So every 100 of these they print one of these kind of thing. I don't know if this is actually a 1 of 100, but that's what variants tend to be, a more rare. There's a scarcity in them. And that makes collecting another whole thing, because you can collect just the story. And you can collect just whatever cover you want. You could get one like this, then the next issue get the regular cover. You can do whatever you want, but if you want to go deep collecting, then you can get the rare variants. If you want to go more aggressively and like be a completionist, you can get every cover. And it's a really fun way to like vary up your collection. Also, the variants, like the 1 of 100s, are going to be worth a lot more because the scarcity. Also, you know, not everyone buys them, so they're true collector items. Also, this title in particular, Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, I mentioned Jason Aaron as writer, but Nick Dragotta, this is the first time I saw Nick Dragotta art. Nick Dragotta is the guy on Absolute Batman that is changing the game. That guy went from I knew his name to holy crap, he's everywhere, and that is his art inside. Cover artist is going to vary, but inside art, the whole run was Nick Dragotta on Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. All right, let's see. To the end of the line, Coy. I appreciate that, Brian L. Redman. That means a lot to me. Leaving comments and likes, hell yeah. The algorithm does suck, especially for comics. So yeah, if you guys, when I say leave a comment, anything you want to put in the actual video comments when I end the stream, like the second I end the stream, if you guys can put some comments in there that you want more of this, I will absolutely keep doing these. I do want to do them for Uncanny X-Men. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do an Uncanny X-Men Silver Age deep dive and kind of talk about what those arcs were, because that Silver Age X-Men, especially the Silver going into Bronze Age Claremont era, is what most people know, you know, adapted into the movies and stuff. So it'd be really fun to kind of look at the covers and dive into those as I put my comics away and share that experience with you guys. And I'll be fully honest, I did not want to originally live stream that because it's kind of personal. Like I kind of is my time, like me time. It's kind of meditative, and you know, it's me appreciating my collection and just taking the time to like decompress. And at the end of the day, when there's dead air on a live stream, it's not good TV. It's not good entertainment. So I like keeping this entertaining and you know, keeping conversation going. So I basically have to be on for an hour. So I didn't want to do that with my comics. But then I realized, what better way to get people to want to buy comics than to show a collection? What better way to get people excited about Silver Age books and collecting, you know, the past stuff than going through my collection? And like, I wanted to share that with you guys. So I'm hoping this video does well. I'm going to try to do that maybe, you know, November into December, like try to do it a few times while the YouTube algorithm's happy. January dies for the algorithm, so I want to try to do some of that leading into the holidays. And then in December, we're going to be doing my favorite movies of the year, favorite comics of the year, favorite music of the year maybe. And then also December is the What If Season 3 daily release. I think they're doing again like they did with Season 2. So there's going to be an insane amount of stuff coming out in December. And this month we still have Gladiator, we still have Wicked, we still have some stuff. Okay, so I was talking about DC All In. So this is not technically a DC All In title, but it is a new #1 in this era. This is DC Horror Presents. So that is a new imprint within DC. They're horror books. This is written by David Desmalchin. You've probably seen me with him doing interviews and stuff. He's become a buddy. I love the guy. He's Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad. He's in Ant-Man as part of the Posse. He was in The Dark Knight. He was the guy that got, you know, assumed as Joker, and that whole like mislead with that creepy dude. He's in Prisoners. He's incredible. David's a delight. An incredible actor, but he's also a huge comic book advocate. And he wrote this great comic called Count Crowley that I talk about all the time. And now he's writing Creature Commandos for DC, and it is so very good. So I highly recommend this book. I did a horror comic recommendation video with him 2 weeks ago. Didn't do that great because comics on YouTube videos. But if you want to check out some horror comics, it's got me and him on the cover of the YouTube video with this comic because I wanted to go see him and talk this comic. Signed it for me. So this is also a way collecting changes. Like a signed comic book is going to change things. Written out to me means a lot to me. And I love the dude, so I love supporting him. And this book is actually also really good. Even if I didn't know David, I would recommend this one because it is a very solid introduction into Creature Commandos, and that is going to be the huge show in December. That kicks off an entire universe, and I'm really excited to see people discover Creature Commandos. So if you've never read a Creature Commando book, you can read this issue 1 and completely understand what's going on, and you'll be more prepared for the goodness in December in the animated show. So highly recommend you check out Creature Commandos from David Desmulchin. I was so careful. It fell onto the bench. It's okay. It's safe. But I was so careful with that one because it was signed, and then it slipped from up to down, and chaos ensued. All right, we are approaching the hour mark. We got about 10 minutes left. Let me see how people are doing in here. You know what? Even if that makes the light a little less good, it is so... I'm wearing black, and the sun has been beating on me. A little toasty. All right, I appreciate all of the love in the chat. That means a lot to me that you guys are excited. People are excited for their recommendation. Hell yeah. Batman 3 Jokers, people like that summarizing. Sam Thomas likes that summary of that in animated form. Bag and board about comic book history, even if not weekly, every now and then. That is kind of the idea. I think that's going to be tentatively the plan.
Why are you filming over there?
Because I have a table here. And I'm bagging and boarding. I'm multitasking. The sun was... I'm sweating.
You got sunscreen on your face?
I do, because I went for a run. I'm trying to stay young.
Good.
My fiance is making sure I stay young. All right, so another book to talk about is, as I bag and board, House of Slaughter. So you hear me talk about Something is Killing the Children quite a bit. A spin-off book, which is fun when they do and do it well, from the same writer, is House of Slaughter. So this is issue 22 of House of Slaughter. As you can see, again, you can check the back for all the details, but you've also got creators, title, what section of arc they do. Boom does a really good job keeping all the details informed. So the Butcher's War Part 2, that means you're only one issue into this new arc. You're 22 issues into the overall title, and this is the regular cover. So we bag and board it. And again, Boom does a really good job making sure everything on the cover is very clear. But then once you get to the variants, they have really cool artistry, and you get to see different artists and discover new artists making some really cool swings at a major publisher. So that is the main cover, but then you've got this variant, which is dope. You've got this variant, which is dope. You've got this one, which is our lead, and again, this is going to be Something is Killing the Children universe. You've got that same variant, but the Virgin Untouched, which is the rarest of, I believe, this printing. And then you've got a really cool, just artistic take. And then you've got the B cover, which is going to give you all the art again, but with that other cover. So a lot of different options, a lot of different things to do. My fiance, on the other hand, can't wait for me to go gray. You know what? I'm approaching 40. I am clinging to every last bit, Michael McCarcel. Nightwing looks good as a little gray.
I count the gray hairs in them.
She did count my gray hairs the other day, or tried to. I ran away. That's real. Am I going to review or cover Arcane Season 2? Probably not. I don't, not really compelled to watch Season 1. I know people love it. I just don't have a lot of time. And I'm already a season behind, so Season 2 doesn't really call to me because Season 1 didn't really call to me. Apologies. I know a lot of people love it. I just don't have the time to add more to my plate. But I'm sure Real Rejects are, so if you want to see, I think John and Greg are doing that one. They're going to be covering that over there. I think that might do it. I might make this episode a little bit shorter because I want to have it grow and see how it does. But that is how I bag and board comics. That's a little bit about what the cover says about each of them. That is today's news. We talked Supergirl. We talked the Fantastic Four title rumor. We talked a little bit about Matt Reeves, the Penguin, and that growing Gotham universe. We talked about last week's books, my favorite 9, as well as what I'm going to be reading this week, the comics that drop tomorrow. So if you're just joining this live stream, that all happened at the top. Thank you for being here. Everyone in the live chat, I appreciate each and every one of you. It is so very toasty here in Los Angeles, California. Please leave a like. Please leave a comment below. I hope this does well enough because I want to do that X-Men video and I want to keep doing these. And if it does well, and if I read comics in time, maybe one on Friday or maybe one next Tuesday, depending on how quick I read this week's books. But either way, thank you all so much for being here. There are more people in here now than there were when we started, and that means a lot, so thank you. This has been Bagging and Boarding. This has been a little taste of my collection. This has been me very appreciative that you guys care about comics because it means a lot to me because I love them very much. If you guys want to see me do anything like this, leave a comment below. If you want to see my Spider-Man collection, leave a comment below. If you want to see the X-Men video, let me know because I will go off your comments. Much love to each and every one of you. I will see each and every one of you very, very soon. This week is the Penguin finale. That video is dropping on Sunday. This week, there is no Agatha, so I'm going to figure out something else to put up this week. But all of that is coming right here on this very page. And then Gladiator, I'm seeing next week, and that will be up next week. So lots to come in November, and then December's bananas. Much, much love. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Appreciate you. Post-credit scene. He's gone. It's so hot. Okay, bye.